for a penalty, or they push for a minimum penalty,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like they're playing political games. So there's a very there's a very small window that they can hit right in the middle.
Without
them
putting their foot in too much.
That kind of observation?
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say that there is a very fine line between them going in full and then just having their foot in halfway, right?
Right.
So I think if the way this will play out will be really based on what the Trump administration decides to do and how much of a factor they decide to play in all this.
Do you think they should take it under consideration as a factor, or should they look at it strictly like, forget the politics, forget how this plays in the media, we need to set an example?
Yeah, I would set the example.
You think?
Yeah, because you have to, if they're going to be in office for 4 years, they should at least set some foundation of what
some kind of a precedent for this is what happens.
Exactly. They shouldn't be undermined, really, because they still are a symbol of power and a symbol in the office, right? So
right, and
they should be respected as such.
Of her feeling that this should be out in the open, it was classified for a reason.
It's still breaking the law. It's
still a criminal penalty.
It's probably going to affect the public in some sort of way. It's probably going to cause something. So if it's classified, it's not just classified for no reason, right? It's not classified because, right?
The report itself identified that Russian hackers had attempted to gain access to U.S. voting software, some of which was actually used in you're in Orlando right now, but used in our hometown area of Naples, Collier County, Lee County, Charlotte County.
Oh, really?
A bunch were affected.
Do you remember what the thing was? The company or the thing that was hacked?
It's like
company?
Pluribus.
Yeah,
Pluribus United,
right?
something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
did this come out? This came out before the Comey testimony, right?
This came out a day or two before.
Because in the Comey testimony, Comey outright said that there was Russians,
right?
Yeah, there was like indisputable evidence.
Right, and now there's no evidence that actual votes were affected.
Yeah,
but knowing that this information was still hidden, do you think that possibly information that votes were affected is also hidden? I don't want to get too far into conspiracy because that's Rush Limbaugh and Alex Jones's job.
Maybe. I can't give you a definite answer on that.
I just wanted to see what you thought.
A lot of conspiracy theories video, man, and some of them are pretty far-fetched, and then some of them are pretty like, whoa.
Oh, sometimes you end up, like, you're trying to watch, like, a testimony video. Like I was trying to do today. I was trying to watch some of Comey's testimony.
It's
couple
hard.
things down, it starts talking about how Comey approved an assassination plot, which isn't possible. But I still clicked on it, and I got very deep into the conspiracy world of YouTube.
It
was like that. All of a sudden, like 25, 30 minutes were gone, and now I know all about these conspiracy theories. And it's kind of insane that people believe this crap.
Yeah, there's a lizard one. The lizard one's pretty...
There's a lizard?
Far-fetched, yeah. It's just that, like, all these powerful individuals are lizards. This, like, ancient lizard race. Trump's a lizard.
Well, I can see that. Real quick, I want to point out that this podcast did hit 103 on the charts in iTunes last week.
Shout out to
beating
iTunes.
out
Shout out to
Jake Tapper.
Jake Tapper. Oh, yeah.
Some MSNBC people. Alex Jones beat him. Bill O'Reilly beat him.
Damn.
I think. Can't remember.
We're going for Nancy Grace.
Anyway. We're coming for Nancy Grace. Man. She was only a couple spots ahead of me.
We're coming for that spot, man.
As soon as that... Was it her or Martha Stewart that went to jail?
Martha Stewart.
I think it was Martha Stewart because she's cool with Snoop.
For tax fraud. Yeah, she went to jail for tax fraud.
That's a pretty good trade-off, though. Go to jail for a few years, come out, and you're straight with Snoop.
Yeah.
I could live with that. That'd be pretty fun.
Exactly. Do a couple specials with Snoop.
Right. You smoke with Snoop, and then you cook up some food.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So last thing, real quick. I know you felt strongly about the Paris Accord.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why did you feel so strongly about it?
Why do I feel strongly about it?
Right.
Well, I think climate change as a whole I feel strongly about. A lot of people say it's over-exaggerated, and it's really, a lot of people say that it's not true, to be honest. Rick Scott, our governor right now, he is a non-believer. So, but there's a lot of opposing issues with this whole thing. So we have people in Miami, right? The governor or the mayor of Miami, he's been facing this whole sea level rise for like 3 years now, and like he had to go in and build a whole, basically a new seawall around the shores of Miami, and he couldn't get funding for it, so he had to dig into his own pocket because Rick Scott did not want to approve the funding for it because he does not believe in sea level rise or climate change. So this comes back full circle, really. So you can really see the effects that all these people in power who don't believe in these things having, biting them in the butt, essentially,
right.
Really. So I think we were like the only like 3 countries out of the whole.
Yeah, I saw that.
Countries.
It's kind of embarrassing.
It really is because and so many people have pulled out of being on the Presidential Advisory Council. Elon Musk, the
Bob
president
Iger,
Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg.
Right.
And I think it's great that all these people are going out. And Michael Bloomberg, he's what's it called? He said, although we did pull out as a country, the people of the United States are still for the Paris Accords, and he's been going to Paris. And he's been trying to meet with the UN councils and trying to establish some foundations of meeting I want to say the 2% or the 2 degrees or.
Right. They want to. I think the goal was 2 to 3 degrees. They want to avoid a 2 to 3 degree heating of the Earth.
Exactly.
Because at that point,
cooling.
It becomes irreversible.
Yeah, it's irreversible. So. I think in life in general, I apply everything to everything. So I apply politics to life. I apply business to politics, So I'm the type of guy that likes to make dots and connect them because that's how you can basically live an easier life. Because if you apply this to let's say if you go to your job and you apply a set of, a set of organizational skills, and then you come home and you apply those same skills, you're going to live an easier life, right?
Right.
So, what's it called? So with, alright, with that being said, I think that people don't really look at something until it directly starts to affect them. Like, directly.
Right.
Right? So, that's why
it's human nature.
Exactly. Human nature. And that's unavoidable, right? So they go in and calling it over-exaggerating and all that stuff, but we have to look towards the future, as always, and really set a set of foundations for the future to live a better life and stuff, right? So, yeah. Damn.
Right, you can't be so focused on what's going on right now, or just because you can't see it physically happening doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You need to think about how it could affect future generations, our kids, our kids' kids, and so on. Yeah, that's a good point.
And a lot of these predictions that the scientists are making, they're happening farther faster than what their predictions are. So
right, they're kind of conservative estimates.
They have to be conservative estimates. Because if they were extreme,
then nobody would pay attention.
Aggressive, nobody would be like, no, you're out of your mind.
Right.
And still with these conservative methods, a lot of people are still saying they're out of their minds and they're exaggerating things. to a full extent.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. And it's especially an issue for us because we've grown up in Florida, still live in Florida.
Exactly. Yeah, Florida's gonna be a couple years. I don't know. They said like 10 years or so.
What, maybe 2-3 years? The whole state will be underwater.
No, way more than that.
Oh, I just wanted to peddle some conspiracy theories.
Nah.
Right,
I mean,
maybe
Miami,
5.
you can see the sea level rise in Miami like crazy. It's really
That's
crazy.
True. And it seems like every
on high tide days, the tide gets so high, and that's why he had to build the new seawall.
Right. And it seems like every couple months there's a new picture of how far glaciers have melted and just aren't there
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah.
So real quick before we end, go ahead. Give a little shout out.
If anyone out there in the public really wants to get more informed on climate change and really wants to make a different impact, I would advise you to check out Before the Flood. It's a documentary that really outlines everything that's been going on in the past, I want to say 2 to 3 years with climate change and the efforts to drive it down. So check it out, Before the Flood. It's on Hulu and it's probably on YouTube for free.
Oh, I'm sure it
really
is.
Really cool documentary.
Is that the Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's good.
Yeah, so he was actually the ambassador for the whole Paris
Right, he's really involved
agreement.
in it.
Right. He set it up, basically.
Oh, cool.
And then Trump goes and basically pulls out.
Yeah.
All his hard work.
Yeah. Kind of completely for nothing now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
real quick before we end, the last 2 interviews that I've done, Talco and Ken.
Yep.
I've asked the same questions. I want to know where you think, real quick, like try to keep it like 30 seconds to a minute each, where you think the Democrats go from where we are right now and where the Republicans go from where we are right now.
Okay.
Start with whichever you like.
So, Republicans. I think there's a lot of controversies going on in the GOP, and everything right now. So hopefully, they seem somewhat ununified. So hopefully they can fix all their issues and get a little bit more unified as a party and really take control of the Republican committee. And as far as Democrats go, I haven't heard too much of Democrats. They've been, as far as media goes, they've just been complaining, I guess, about Trump and his cutbacks, his policy reforms.
So maybe cut down on just complaining about everything Trump does and try to find a few issues.
Exactly. Yeah, I would try to, because whining doesn't really get you anywhere.
Right.
So
start to get
definitely
tuned out.
Exactly. After a while, especially in the political world. So maybe fine-tune some issues that really need some attention to them and go drive home for them. That's what I would say for Democrats.
That's pretty good. Unification for Republicans and find a couple key points you can really do some damage on for Democrats.
Exactly.
All right. All right. Well, Lou, thank you very much for doing this. I had to essentially kind of harass you into finally doing this for me.
Hey, man. It was a pleasure. Always is a pleasure. John Douglas.
No, thank you. Let's make sure we get that one out there.
Real personal.
So thank you for showing up. Thank you for volunteering to be,
of course,
kind of run some things behind the scenes for me.
Always.
And
hey,
with
man,
that,
it was a pleasure.
You got any shout outs you want to do real quick?
A real quick shout out to shout out to Dirty Mike, shout out to Chantel Lopez one time.
Oh, she would have killed you if you didn't.
Oh yeah, she would have. She really would have. Keeping it grounded always, Alright, I'm out. Thanks for listening, guys.
With that, we out.